Good morning and welcome to the center. Welcome to all of you who are watching on all the different platforms. Today's lesson it's based on some work I did a few years ago. It's been entitled Setting Your Sails or Sailing Your Ship. And so the point today in setting our sails is to tell us, this lesson informs us that we're always learning to adapt. And it's our desire to get this teaching within us. We want to be flexible. We want to be able to grow ourselves. We want to be able to adapt. I want to talk a little bit today about learning to put a strong demand on consciousness. This center, when I encountered it 6 years ago, really didn't have too many people. We've got a great history, lineage here, but we didn't really have a lot of people in attendance. And when I came here with knowledge of various growth models for spiritual centers. And I came with the knowledge of how it was all shifting. So I knew we had to do things differently, and we have. So we had a strong demand. We put a demand in consciousness for us to grow and evolve. And the universe has been fulfilling that demand. In other words, it's been filling in the details along the way. It's been a lot of hard work, a lot of change, a lot of letting go of different things. But what I've learned is, just like life, all of us are becoming more and more of what we are. We're evolving and growing, and so is this spiritual center. The universe in us and here in our particular gathering is expanding. Our community is expanding to meet the needs of this very moment, this generation. Our dedication here to excellence ensures that you'll receive the best from us every single week. Sometimes we go through it and we say, I wish I could have done better, but we're always here attempting to do it better, to bring you more. And that's all you can ask of yourself too, is just each day you rise and you do the best you can, and you extend your love and your to the people around you, and we move forward, and we move forward together. So we hope you can join us, by the way, in real time during the week, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Sundays, and other times, and interact directly with us, get to know us, and say hi when you can. There's a time for personal sharing. And if you can't, again, there's many ways now for you to participate with the center. And you can support us financially if you'd like, or it's nice just hearing from you as well. I want to say to the people who are new, there is a cumulative effect, a benefit from tuning in regularly. I've been a part of the Louise classes for over 30 years, and I've been presenting them, and they say you teach what you need to learn. The more you get involved, the more this stuff starts to live in you, and you start to change that conversation around to one that's much more life-giving, to one that's higher. And as you lift your consciousness up, then you'll see the results of that effort in your life. You're going to start to see that your life functions more smoothly. All our messages are tailor-made to uplift, to empower, and to guide you on your unique journey. And again, if you feel called to support our mission, we've made it very easy, ever so easy to do so. You can find support links in all of our chats and all of our social media platforms. If you want to do some volunteer work for the center, contact Jimmy. There's always various tasks. Maybe you're a writer, maybe you're a poet, maybe there's some music in you. But in any way you want to be involved, let us know. But most of all, most importantly, join in the broadcast. And if you're in New York, come in and see us. Together we're navigating this time, this time of, we'll call it uncharted waters together. And we accept change as a constant. I remember studying was Greek philosophy and pre-Socratics, and it was Heraclitus who said, you can't stand in the same river twice. And I always remember that. It's like, you're in the same place. This is, on a Sunday, and it's the same spiritual center, but we're all different today. We're different. We're very different than what we were. We've evolved a lot in a short period of time. You can always look back on your life and know that you are more now than you ever were before. So, we come back into our teaching where Dr. Barker says, we are today people, we are now people. We are not yesterday's people or last month or 5 years ago. We're not trying to be like what this center was 20 years ago. And it was great then, and it's great now. But, we're in the now. So let's enthusiastically today, the idea of setting our sails, let's have a high intention to set our sails so we can ride and master these winds of change. Our teaching tells us we're connected to everything. Everything. We're one with it, right? And it follows then, as the world evolves, which it is, with warp speed, as the world evolves, so do we. Accept that change. Be willing to be there. Don't resist it for your own sake. As the tides shift, so do we. As a door closes, know with me that others open. As the needs of the people change, so will we change. For we here are not simply a spiritual body. When we gather, we become a lighthouse ourselves. We're illuminating the way for others who seek truth, love, and higher consciousness. At the center, we learn many, many great lessons. One of the lessons is we learn to visualize. We hitch our wagons to to the stars that Emerson spoke of. We dare to dream bigger dreams. Maybe in our childhood we're taught that we couldn't have this and we couldn't have that. But when we come here, we suggest that anything is possible. Anything. What the mind conceive and believe, it will achieve. So we come here to learn how to dream and to vision and develop, much, much bigger picture of ourselves. And we develop a right relationship with the universe because we come to realize that we're one with it. Whatever it has, we have, whatever it is, we are. And so we come together, and with everyone's help and participation, we continue to transform lives. One message, one person at a time sometimes. So let's embark on this extraordinary journey together for enlightenment and growth. Raymond Charles Barker is always saying that we are today people. As I said, we are now people. Whenever he was saying that, he was speaking, of course, of the teaching. It's important to remember that we don't want to be ever the ones that are clinging to the past. The universe around us is expanding and evolving, as are we, right? So I want to embrace that message of Raymond Charles Barker when he said we need to dare to be the now people, and we need to dare to be attuned to the needs of this very moment. The point of power is always in the present moment, Louise said. So just as the great Raymond Charles Barker, who was a visionary of his time, would step up to meet the challenges of his day, and he had many, so shall we. In our pursuit of new thought, we honor the wisdom also of the past. Ralph Waldo Emerson was a genius. He was a luminary of think of terms of the mid-1800s. He left such an indelible mark on New Thought spirituality. He was probably at least 100 years ahead of his time. And despite the passage of time, his teaching remains relevant and really profound. Emerson's consciousness, the essence of his spiritual work, continues to inspire a select few who dive deeper into his wisdom and discover its profound meaning. He was a mystic. And those of you who are really involved with this teaching you're developing a mystical approach to life yourself, because you're seeing the God and the good in everything. And Emerson was a great lover of life. He was one of those that could see, I'll call it the God, the good, this divine energy in everything working. And he was one of the most influential teachers we've ever had. And his thoughts taught all of the people, the great minds, Ernest Holmes, Mary Baker Eddy, the Fillmores, and many others. So, in all of our teachings, we're honoring the legacy of Emerson and all these other folks who came before us. Our aim always is to awaken to the lovingness, the timeless benevolence, and the greatness that is within each of us, acknowledging the divine fact that we are inlets and we're outlets of this force. You might not think you're anything special, but you are. You're an inlet and outlet of this divinity. It's in you, operating through you. We teach affirmative living. We teach you how to live the affirmative life. We teach you about affirmations. We teach you how to turn an affirmation into an affirmative prayer. We teach you about self-discovery and the realization of who and what you are. You are one with the one, and this is going to lead you to a profound understanding of this inner source and that it's in you. I oftentimes say it's been called the best kept secret of the ages, because people were looking for God everywhere but within themselves. And now we're here telling you what the mystics have taught, that the presence and the power, this thing you're looking for, is in you, operating through you. It guides you, it woos you. You have got it. So you've got it, you have it within you. There's nothing I can do to make you more than you are. You're already the whole bit. It's there. This presence is there within you, and it will guide your life if you will let it. If, as Ralph Waldo Emerson said, if you allow yourself to get out of the way. He actually said it in a different way. He said, if you allow yourself to get that bloated nothingness out of the way. And those are kind of harsh words. I thought when I was reading it, I thought, ouch. I'm sure he didn't mean it in a harsh way, though. When he's talking about getting the bloated nothingness out of the way of the divine circuits, he's really telling you, you are the whole bit. You're an inlet and outlet of God activity. And we entertain a lot of junk that gets in the way. If we could get that stuff out of the way, the limiting beliefs and the false ideas and all the nonsense, right? You would be reflecting light, because each of you are a being of light, and you would naturally reflect it if there wasn't this stuff that's getting in the way. We get busy, perhaps too busy. We get so busy that we're not listening to spirit, which is always the undercurrent there. We drown it out a little bit. So in many of our lessons, we suggest that you learn how to slow it down a little bit. We oftentimes say, take the pause. Take the pause that refreshes. It was a Coca-Cola commercial many years ago. As you slow down, as you meditate, as you journal, as you do whatever you do to breathe in quiet moments, and you listen and you sense that their spirit is within you, then you can start listening. You can inquire within. One thing I want to tell you, if you practice and you stay in communication and you stay in the lessons, you're going to have a quickening. You're going to have this presence become more alive in you, and it will guide your life. As we learn to live in close communion with it, as we learn to live the affirmative life, you're going to see changes, and things are going to happen The right word is a quickening. There will be a quickening. As we begin to know that all circumstances, events, and happenings are helpful. And that's a beautiful line from a beautiful book. As we begin to know that all circumstances, events, and happenings are helpful, that means you're trusting the process of life and you're knowing that it's all unfolding for your good. As we begin to understand that, we begin to grasp the intricacies of the universal law and principles, where we understand their operation. It's always unfolding in your life. Where we begin to understand what we put out comes back to us. We're here to learn to be lifters and givers, right? We're here to see the good. And if your preoccupation is seeing the good in other people and seeing the good in yourself, that's going to come back to you. As we delve into this transformative teaching more and more, again, there's going to be a quickening. Your consciousness is going to grow. Our awareness expands. And what we're doing is we're shedding all these old ideas of like victimhood or blame and who's done you wrong. And we begin to realize that we exist as pure power. We have inherent power. And we have power that we can wield and use to bring about tremendous change and improvement in our lives. We're not confined anymore by limited perceptions. We're learning to love ourselves. I love, accept, and approve of myself, Louise taught. God doesn't make junk, so we release the need to think of ourselves as ill-equipped, not enough, bad, or anything like that. We're not confined by any of this any longer. We recognize our boundless potential, and then we transcend our former self-imposed limitations. With the understanding that you can get through the practice of this teaching, we embark on a journey of self-realization, where we begin to really love and embrace our true nature and know that I'm one with the One. Some of you will say, I'm one with the Father, or the Father's within. You can say it a lot of different ways, but you awaken to the fact that I am that thing, and it exists within me, operating through me. When you hear me almost every Sunday say, in truth, it's all about you, or you'll hear me say, in truth, there's nothing outside of you, I don't know how many people really take that in. It's an important idea. The statement, in truth, there's nothing outside of you, can be such a gift if you take it in and you think about it. It's a profound metaphysical statement. It lets you comprehend that all of existence, with its endless experiences, emotions, and perceptions, is intertwined with the very essence of our being. Imagine for a moment that the universe is not an external entity. Okay, just imagine that. It's not. The universe is not an external entity. Imagine that it's an intricate reflection of you and your innermost self. That's what it is. Each individual, each event is not just a fleeting moment in time, but each event, each moment is a manifestation of your innermost consciousness. To talk about others, for example, or dwell upon what they're doing and gossiping, or talk about other people and external events, is such a waste of your energy and will consume your joy. Wherever we're casting blame or sharing gossip or focusing on what's wrong, or we're using the word should, and we're all caught up in all of that, what folks are doing, and what's wrong and missing in life or in the world. Wherever we're doing our focus that way, we're not taking the mystical approach then, because we're in separation. So we want to change our focus of our ship, our sails, because we're forgetting in the true theater of existence, it's all about us and what's in us. Every experience, every joy, every sorrow is a mirror to our soul. And it's a result of our own creation. You have awesome power. You have the power. So we want to grasp the power and harness its boundless potential. We want to journey inward always and recognize that the entire universe resides within. And it's waiting to be discovered, acknowledged, and understood by you. As a united global now, virtual community of seekers, we are ascending to new heights of understanding. We're developing increased compassion for one another and the world itself. We who are really in this teaching and understand this teaching and believing this teaching are the lifters. So let's go hand in hand. We can imagine that in our minds, right? Supporting and uplifting one another on this remarkable journey of self-discovery. Discovery of the self, the capital S, discovery of self, that God in you. For those of us who stay with it and who are committed to growing and expanding as individuals and here with us at the center, we carry forth the torch of wisdom that's been passed down to us through generations. We dare to rethink everything. We dare to dream. We dare to explore. We dare to embrace the internal truths that light our path toward a brighter and more enlightened future. All of us know here, by the way, that our souls long to express life with joy and passion. So we come here always, week by week, to be reminded of the greatness that we have within it. Together, we make a profound impact on the world, and we leave a legacy of love, light, and wisdom for the generations to come. I was reminded as I was putting this lesson together, years ago I had a lesson which was entitled "The Lies That Mama Told Me," and then someone told me I was putting all on my mother. So, and to be fair, I got it from my grandparents, I got it from my grandfather, my father, and everybody else. So, we learn a lot of things from a lot of people. And I learned during that same time that I was programmed, right, by everybody. But, we come at this teaching and we learn that we're truth students. And someone pointed that phrase out to me many years ago. And I realized it was true. And what that means is you understand or you've come to believe that there is one power, and it is in all of us. And if that seems too much to grasp at first, you might think of religious science as a philosophy. It's available to help us all who want to experience a fuller, more empowered life. Dr. Holmes wrote the book, The Science of Mind. It's our textbook. And it was described as being the culmination of the best ideas found in all the great religions. And he said, we take our wisdom and good wherever we find it, and we make it our own, as much as we can understand it. Dr. Holmes accumulated spiritual truths and principles from all the religions, as I said. And he said, we recognize that the source of God is good. It's an energy. That the universe is good, and as much of this good as any individual is able to accept and bring into their life is theirs to use. This good is an eternal expression by the givingness of spirit, and it takes place moment by moment, second by second. As we begin to understand that we're one with it, and we begin to understand how to use it, we will allow our lives to become greater expressions of spirit. This force, this energy is operating through us to the extent that we are open and receptive to it. From another lesson an old lesson, I said, God is out to get you. And what I was really getting at in that lesson is spirit is always there, and it's there attempting to woo you in your moments, your dreams, your aha moments. Many don't listen, but it's there. Some of you are doing the work are beginning to do the work on the call. I hear your remarks, I see your remarks, I get phone calls, and you're seeing amazing results. So in this teaching, we learn again that there's power, and you have it. It's within you. You could be like the prodigal child. You can be off in the weeds and pretend it isn't there, but eventually you'll stumble and you'll come back to the center. And as they say, the Father comes rushing to meet you, because you live and move and you have your being in this divine energy. So once you awaken to it, you can learn how to use it. Back to my setting my sails talk. Have you ever been to a seashore and contemplated how beautiful it is? I want you to imagine a shore in a distance, and from a distance you can see sailboats being carried by the wind. And as you do that, you can observe that there's some boats that are moving in different directions. And how can that happen, right? There's a poem by Ella Wheeler Wilcox, who's one of our favorites in New Thought, and it was entitled "'Tis the Set of the Sails." And that can explain some of the key ideas today. She said, for every mind that's open, there is a way. She said, a high soul climbs the highway and a low soul gropes the low. And the in-between on the misty flats. The rest of us drift to and fro. But to everyone that's open, a highway and a low way, and every mind, and she went on to say, every mind decides the way that their soul shall go. One ship will go east, one will go west, by the same winds that blow. And here's her point. She says, it's the set of the sails. It's not the gales that tells you where you're going to go. So it's not your adversity, it's not the wind, it's the set of the sails that tell you the way you will go. And she went on to say, like the winds of the sea are the waves of time, as we journey along through life, it's the set of your soul that determines the goal. It's not the calm or the strife. And is it the way that the wind blows in life that makes the difference, was the question. And her answer was, no, it's the set of the sail. It's what you decide, it's what you intend. So I learned many years ago that we have the ability to put a demand on consciousness for a great life. Not a mediocre life, but a great life. You can dare to dream big. There's so many books I could refer you to on that whole subject. Once you get resolved within yourself that you deserve something wonderful, and it could be a relationship, it could be a job, it could be anything. Once you are there and you know it, and you absolutely know it, it's yours in mind, nothing will take you off the course. It's here that we set our sails. And that makes all the difference in the world. And it explains how people and sailboats go in different directions. We alone have the right to choose how we want to live our lives. It's obvious to me that we each steer our own vessel. I listen to people week by week, and I see people digging themselves into holes. I've dug myself into enough of them. And you can definitely turn it all around. Starting here, starting now. Yesterday ended last night. You can start it all over right now. It's never too late to start your day over. It's so obvious that we steer our own vessel. This is your own glorious, fantastic life, and you're creating it. That's the thing. Please don't be a person that's always complaining about other people and giving all your power to them, because you have the power yourself. Our lives only need direction. They need your direction. You can tune in here for, give you a lot of positive messaging, but ultimately it's up to you. You're steering your own vessel. Our lives need our direction and constant course correction to stay on target. Again, our lives need direction and constant course correction to stay on target. That's why we have a spiritual practice. We do affirmative prayer treatments early, as they used to say, early, late, and often, until this way of life becomes automatic. I was sharing with Lady V not too long ago. We might get to the point one day where there's no need. But most of us are not in that place yet. you know, where there's no need, there's nothing to treat for. Because if you get to a point where you live, move, have your being in this awareness, then you know it's all God. You know that every encounter is a holy encounter. And you have developed positive expectancy across the board. But for most of us, life needs our continual and positive attention. It needs us to do affirmative prayer. We need to learn to be the guardian at the gate, which means we have to watch what we think and cancel the stuff that we do that's not working for us. We want to be vigilant and intent on taking charge of our thoughts and our thinking. And we release the need to have other people think for us and decide for us. My favorite line is, I declare that we are all in new moments with new thoughts where we can release the hurt, the lies, the story that we hold on to, the stories of the past. And to do this, it requires a little bit of effort, to be sure. We want to come from a place of being connected and knowing we're connected with Spirit, and then we're willing to do the work. We stay in connection. It doesn't matter what people say, do, or think. We're centered in our self-knowledge. We're centered in the energy that we're one with the Source. And we're here to do the work, and we're here to stay connected. As you practice and learn to have positive expectancy, which is what we do, you're going to see it's going to pay off big time in your life in every area. Each of us are authors of our own experience. We have much more control of our lives than we have ever thought, and we can start making our own decisions and choosing our own directions. Unless you've given other people the power to do it for you. We have knowledge here born out of the awareness of who we are. We have faith that life is working out for us. We trust, as Louise said, in the power process of life. Most of us are learning to release the past, and resist clinging to any idea of how anything used to be. We happily release ideas of what was, and we embrace what is. We understand that God or Spirit is alive in every new moment. Are you there yet? Do you know this yet? Do you know how powerful you are? And can you see or sense the beauty that's here and that's in you, operating through you? Can you unite with it? Are you able to apprehend and take in the fact that God in you, as you, is you? Yeah, is you right now. And that all is well. Are you somebody who resists all these new things? Does it all seem too much to you? Do you see the challenges of the day happily? Do you see the changes as opportunities for you to stretch and grow? Or are you inclined to fight and not like change and the challenges that are happening? If you want to embrace this teaching, we want to come to a point of acceptance, accepting life in life's terms. We want to come to a point and understand that life is unfolding. It's unfolding good. And life is unfolding in such a way for us to grow and learn that it's good always. If you don't like to change, don't worry. You have a lot of good company. If you get to a place where you're actively embracing change, it's a big step in your development. You might not like it. You might resist it. In the end, it's a necessary spiritual skill to have an empowered life. An old saying from one of my teachers was, whatever is best. And I used to hear that all the time. Whatever is best. So, another affirmation that I used to embrace was this is God in my life. Whatever it is that's going on, it's you're in the perfect time, perfect place. I know as my life grows older and my eyes have clearer sight that under each rank of wrong, somewhere there lies the root of right. This is a poem. That each sorrow has its purpose, by the sorrowing oft unguessed, but as sure as the sun brings the morning, whatever is best. I also know that each sinful action, as sure as the nights bring shade, is somewhere sometime punished, though the hour may be long delayed. I know that the soul is sided sometimes by the heart's unrest, and to grow means often to suffer, but whatever is best. I know that there are no errors in the great eternal plan, and that all things work together for the final good of man. And I know that my soul speeds onward in its grand eternal quest. I shall say as I look earthward, whatever is best. Dr. Holmes tells us in our text that we're free to think and do as we decide, that the universal mind is law, only knows what we know of ourselves. This intelligence is part of the cosmic engine that's always in operation. We have power available to us, and we're here to use it. We can create by our own thinking, our own heaven or our own hell, because these are reflections of our own beliefs operating our lives as law. You alone, I alone choose our good, and we alone always reap what we have sown. We can use a good wind to blow us in any direction we choose, right? So we get to do the choosing. We can choose greater health, greater harmony, more money, greater supply, better careers, better relationships. We can choose to whatever contributes to the joy of living. How does our teaching show us how to acquire greater good? It shows us by definitely directing the law of life to create that good. So claim it today, this week. Know that it is yours. Know it's yours now. We're awake and we're aware of the operation of the spiritual law. It's working every second, responding to us always. We are surrounded by it. It's intelligence that responds to our words and thoughts. This is what our consciousness is. This consciousness is the sum total of our beliefs and opinions. This intelligence receives everything we think and acts upon it. This creative force creates by means of our direction. Remember, it's neutral and it's impartial. It just knows how to receive what we put out, and it reacts and it creates. It's the same wind and the same spiritual law behind the movement of the ships. The same law that takes us to the right is the same law that takes us to the left. It's our consciousness that sets the sails that determines where we go. We're going to always demonstrate by means of our consciousness. So the laws of the universe conspire for our greater good. Infinite mind operates by means of our direction. I think that'll do it. So you get to go anywhere you want to go because I'm challenging us all to know that there's power for good in the universe, and you can set your own sails and set the direction, and please dream big. So we'll close on that note. Be clear about what you want. Know that the universe responds to 24 hours a day, and tune into our new YouTube TV channel where you can participate with us 24 hours a day. Now I'm looking forward. Jimmy's going to help. We want to hear from as many of you as possible. Thank you. So it is.